Good morning, good morning, good morning. We'll be starting in a few minutes, as you can see by the timer. Today I just want to tell you about some exciting stuff that's happening with the Brothers of Legacy. We have opened up a membership program, and if you click the link that's right at the bottom, boom, you can be a part of that. We got a lot of background stuff we want to share with you guys, a lot of projects that we got going on. And just the full direction of the Brothers of Legacy, and we want you to be a part of that. So we have opened up a membership. We have different levels, and it gives you an opportunity to invest in Brothers of Legacy, while at the same time learning about what we are learning to do as well. So you can really be a part of this journey. So within that, you'll be a part of our Facebook group. You'll get some apparel. You'll have an opportunity to be on screen with us during Freestyle Fridays. It is a plethora of things that are possible just being a part of this membership, and it's growing. So as we grow, you get to grow with us. So before we get started, before we join, make sure you go to that link, hit the link, and within that minute, sign up, be a part. And of course, we're going to give you a shout out for everyone that joins, and be a part of this growth, because it is important that you guys are part of this journey. It's not just about us. It's about you going in the direction that God has set us to go in. So again, hit that link, be a part, and we appreciate you. We are coming into our next season. This is season 2. We have come out of the breaks, and we are now ready to enjoy another all of the stuff that's happening around the world, politically, in our communities and things of that nature. So these conversations are going to be taken up a notch. So be a part of that. So we appreciate you as well. All right, let's get into it. Let's enjoy the show. That's it. So we'll see you on the inside. Take care. Boom. What's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Cheryl. Sports car lady in the building. Lisa in the building. The blessings to you as well. Thank you guys for rocking with us in another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Thank you as always for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And if you've not shared and you're in the building, make sure you share. Hit that share to your followers and those folks that are following you. We're going to have an interesting conversation, even if it's just me today. But we got to see what's going down. So we are about to kick it off. We're going to talk about a few things today. This is Hot Topic Wednesday. And if you was here last Wednesday, it got hot in her. So I got a few things to discuss, a few things we're going to talk about. And this is an opportunity, like I said, to share. Make sure you tag somebody that you feel may want to be a part of this conversation. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about the Supreme Court. We're talking about quite a few things today. All right, so stay tuned. Get ready. Hang on tight. Let's get on, get busy, and I'll be back uno momento. I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another edition. Good morning, everybody. Boom. All right, guys. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Thank you for hanging with us. So we're going to get into it. And if you've not had an opportunity to sign up for the BOL membership, make sure you do so. It's as low as $1 to support. And if you want to get in, it's low as $5 to $7. So make sure you check it out. So today, let's see, boom. The first thing I wanted to kind of talk about and this is kind of late breaking news. If you've not heard about, it said Donald Trump sends a bizarre, incoherent Amy Comey Barrett tweet as Supreme Court declines to back electoral coup. Backs. So as you can see, it's funny about this Supreme Court thing. The worry is that it's leaning to one side, so you assume that everything that they want, they're gonna get. But in the eyes of the law, you need evidence. In the eyes of the law, there has to be something to show proof. And as you can see, as we've all seen, that there is no proof of these things occurring, of the voter fraud, um, to the extent that it has shifted the election. Now, I never say this 100%. There's been small here and there, and someone has got locked up for voting twice, but I think it was an error. But unfortunately, it's a federal offense, so you have to be mindful of that stuff. If you mail in and think it didn't make it, and you try to vote in person as well, it could have implications. So the thing is, if there was evidence, if there was something of widespread voter fraud, with all this digging and the Supreme Court leaning his side, you would think this would be in his favor. But obviously, there is nothing to show because the Supreme Court hasn't backed it as well. So as we see the direction that we're going. Joe Biden will be president, and with Vice President. Oh my gosh, I went blank there. Kamala Harris. So yeah, definitely, it is crucial that we are part of the process. And if you're in Georgia, make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. We have a runoff election coming next Monday. We'll start early voting, so hopefully you're already registered because it is important that we get in this process, that we are part of the conversation, that we are part of everything going down. But yeah, it's like I said, we've been at this thing with Donald Trump for quite some time, and the thing is, yeah, Harris, yeah, I don't know, my brain went blank right there. What's up, Ash? Thanks for coming through. It's important that we are part of the process, that we know what's going on, and I'm gonna keep it real. Like this whole Donald Trump thing has exposed the whole process. Like I didn't know so much was involved between the election, the electoral college, January. What could happen. There's always news story after news story as to what can happen. You realize, man, this is too much of a process. It should be shorter. Now, historically, we've shortened it. It was in March, then they moved it to January because of some issues. But now with Donald Trump's issue, I think they should be moving it at least to a month or a couple of weeks. There should be such not so much of a long term, as they call, lame duck. Because once you realize you're about to lose your job, like think of the mess that you'll cause once you lose your job. Or you're about to be out of work. And it's one thing if you did 8 years, it's like, it's part of the Constitution. There's nothing I can do about it. But when it's 4, it's like, oh, now I'm mad. Now I'm angry. Now I'm gonna do everything to make it harder for the next administration, and that's not good for the Americans. So it's crazy. It's crazy learning the things I've learned about the process is bananas. Things I've discovered and the length it takes, and what could go wrong in the process to change things. Yeah, definitely. A couple of weeks makes a difference. A couple of weeks makes a difference. Because too many times, if there's too long of a term, like think of the damage he could cause. Especially especially being, hey, what's up, Cole? Especially having the power of the executive order. He could legally kind of screw some things up, and then not being really part of a party. What's up there, Pastor? And not being part of a party, right, right. Flash, it's lonely at the top. um, and not being part of a party, like sometimes I really kept thinking about the fact that he may not have like such long-term political aspirations as to really care about the Republican candidates. Like, I don't care. I lost. Now I'm mad. So I don't care about anybody else's legacy. Like, I'm mad now. Oh,
Oh, you mean Trump?
yeah.
Yeah.
With him losing and, the destruction or the problems he could cause just from the lame duck session. He's not actually out. He's still got all 100% power and he can still do things. Um, so it's crazy. So I was talking about the how him getting struck down by the Supreme Court and not being able to use the Supreme Court in his favor. And it's crazy because in our minds we like, oh man, it's leaning so much towards their side. This was his play, and obviously it's clear if they shut it down, there is no evidence. It's clear that the lower courts are handling their business, so they don't have to get involved.
I think it's them shutting it down. It doesn't make it clear that there's no evidence. It makes it clear that there is no widespread,
Right.
and it's not enough to change the outcome
Right.
of the election. Clearly, there are cases of voter fraud throughout the U.S.
Definitely.
But nowhere has anybody proven that there is enough to sway the outcome. It's not even enough to bring to the court. Right. That's basically what the Supreme Court is saying. You don't have enough evidence to even cause us to turn our direction or attention towards the case.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
Right. Cool. Good morning, and Mama McCory in the building. Yeah, and I mentioned that it's like there is stuff happening, but it's like I said, it's so small. It's probably, like I said, not enough to even move. Probably not even enough to move local elections. It's just not big enough for that being an issue. I mean, never saying it could never happen, but they've done a great job at keeping it to such a small percentage that, as we've seen so far, that has not messed up the election.
Well, there's evidence of voter fraud in every election.
Right.
What I find amazing is that outside of what happened in Florida,
right,
recount, there has never been such a fuss or pushback on the level of voter fraud. Now, what's amazing, the amazing part of this is how much all eyes were on this election, right? In light of President Trump saying that there was going to be voter fraud. He killed it before it even started.
Right.
Which means there was going to be even more attention paid to it. There was going to be, more eyes on it. And that's the part that's so amazing to me, that you have to be foolish to try to do something illegal when Trump called everybody out before the election even came. They're going to try to steal it. They're going to try to steal it. So if he's saying beforehand that they're going to try to steal it,
yes,
there are cameras everywhere.
Right.
Who is crazy enough? Now, I know anything is possible. Anything is possible. But the amount of rhetoric that he spewed before the election even happened only raised the stakes for the people in those elected positions. The electors, the people who have to do the counting. Nobody wants to go to prison.
Right.
And for him to say as much as he said beforehand.
Yes.
You've got, and again, I know there are people still crazy enough to try to slide some things through there and everything. But to actually attack, the secretaries of state, to actually attack governors, to actually attack, the people that are sworn to count these votes, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Oh, the three amigos. Nah, man, we're not the three.
No. Two Musketeers, maybe.
I like that.
Treacherous three, something.
The treacherous three.
But not three amigos. He said, and then there was three. What's up, Dwayne?
What's going on?
Morning, brother.
Pastor, you make an interesting point. I never even thought about that before. I just heard it. That was the first time I ever thought about it, but that is beyond logical. That's like me saying, hey, a new pimp gonna come block, start girls. You think somebody could come on the block and even try to holler at somebody? It's like, no, wow. I
mean, you just process that. That's my thing. I'm like, I was listening to who was the guy he just fired? The secretary
Pentagon, I think
Craig's what was the guy's name?
I done gave up
Craig's.
on this man fired.
I forgot.
This is like fire number 15.
Right.
I know, right?
I think it's over the Pentagon or something in the Pentagon.
At any rate, I need you to process this in your mind. They're going to try to steal the election.
Sound like Trump.
Right? They're going to try to steal the election.
Right.
That's what he said. For months. They're going to try to steal it. Watch, they're going to try to steal it.
Right.
When you say that, election officials are saying, oh God, he's already coming after us.
Yep.
Right.
What are you going to do as an election official? You're going to say, we have got to have our ducks in a row.
Right.
You're going to tell your team, they're going to try to come in here and insinuate. They're going to accuse. They're going to attack. They're going to do it.
Right.
So please, everybody,
let's
get this done and let's get it done right. Right. Governors are saying, not on my watch.
Right.
Secretaries of State are saying, not on my watch.
Right.
Imagine what those meetings are like prior to these votes coming in.
Right.
And then only to have, and then you have those volunteers coming in who are going to accuse you anyway.
Yep.
Looking for something.
And not only do you know that they're going to be volunteers coming in and accusing you, you know they're going to be people that are willing to lie.
Right.
You got all that.
Right. You got all of that. Right. So with all of that taking place, the only thing you can do is dot your I's and cross your T's.
Right.
And in light of all of that, still in spite of all of that, all of the attention placed on this year's election, he says they stole it. And not only does he say it,
he pushes it,
but he's got tens of millions of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Backing it.
But you want to, and here's the crazy thing. You want to know why we didn't see it though? Because that's a prolific point. I'm baffled that this is the first time I've seen it. Like literally, this is the first time I ever thought about that point. This is why. Because most logical people, and it's like he said something like that again. That's stupid. It's an election. Of course he's trying to win. So we over here processing it like that's just stupid. Why would you? And it's another Trump meme. It's another Trump meme. And that's how we're looking at it. But the reality of it is now all these people who really do support him, they're believing everything he's saying and not realizing, and they're taking it serious. So measures were made. And when those measures were made, how dare you this year out of all years? I don't know if the polls may have always had transparency, but as far as being able as a non-entity to go on a website and look at the cameras, voters voting in Philly as a regular citizen in Georgia,
that'll feel right.
That's how much more transparency do you need? Right. When the whole anybody who say, oh, they're still or they're not counting, or we don't have visibility, you can go look at Philadelphia and California. Right. Watch it. And it's all because of the rhetoric that started earlier that we was just like, oh, he said some dumb stuff again. Yeah. And it probably didn't come out like that. It was like, oh, he on that again. That's how most of the conversations went. Oh, he tweeting again.
But if he don't drive that fear, he stops getting that funding. Like I think last I checked, he was up to like 210 that he received for his legal campaign to fight the voter fraud. So if he drives it, he gets more money. Some people say he's gonna use it to pay off his taxes. I don't know. What Donald Trump need with $200 million, I don't know.
See those things. I can't trust them people already though, because he don't work the system to the point where he only had to pay $756 in taxes.
Right.
So his taxes are paid.
Right.
Yeah. That's a possibility, man.
Right.
They were floating around that he owed some 451 or something like that. This show ain't over, man. It's
Right.
and then I was wondering. It's two questions I was really thinking about with you guys, like with the fact that it's a Republican Secretary of State in Georgia that he's attacking a Republican governor. Like he's upending that whole. Like his coming in, the way he came in changed the GOP forever. Anyways, even before he got confrontational with him. But I'm just saying, like, does him upending, throwing the whole GOP into a whirlwind, does that affect us just like as Americans? Like not the Democrats versus the Republicans, but just the republic for which we stand. Like, does it mess us up that day? Because they are in shambles. They got governors and senators going against the Secretary of State, and then the president like one. They told Kelly Loeffler the other day, like, hey, pick one, who right, who wrong, stuff like that. So, so how does that mess us up as Americans?
I don't think it messes up.
And let me hit you with one more. They asked a question, and I thought it was fair. Could we describe the difference between Stacey Abrams' stand and refusal to concede with Trump's? Just to be objective, like, was she right to take a stand? And is Trump wrong to take his stand? Like,
I mean, I believe the Stacey Abrams situation was, you have a player who's the referee as well. So that just made that situation. Yeah, that's just like, and honestly, let's flip the script. If it was, if Trump was, if he ran up the regular stages and he was mayor or he was going for, governor, and it was the same situation, like I would imagine he would have been, honestly, he would have been out speaking it from the beginning. How we got him running the elections and in it. Yeah. Let's think about this, guys.
Yeah.
Think about this. So I'm sure he would have came out further. It is different because it's ran differently, but I'm on Stacey Abrams' side just to be jumping on. I jumped on it even if I had lost by like 1 million votes.
I think she lost by 57. So
right. And that question, I
felt hypocritical a little bit.
No, yeah, here's the difference, right? In the office of the president of the United States,
right?
There's no fair anything. It is what it is. There are no rules because the president can run against his own vice president if they wanted to do it. Right. I mean, there's never been any rules there. So when it comes to that, you abide by the rules you have. If the votes are within a certain percentage, and do a recount, and that's all you can do. However, in state government, it's slightly different. And then you got the constitution of each individual state. But what should have happened was one should have resigned at least pending the outcome of the election. Once they throw their hat in, seeing that the office and the position which he occupied was directly could be affiliated or could it was a conflict of interest.
Yes, sir.
Him holding that position.
Just for transparency's sake, I agree with you.
So because it's a state ran operation and there are rules and there's things, you got people like if President Trump had a position where he can influence voting process could happen, then that would have some merit. But since it doesn't, there's no merit there. But in the state of Georgia, you got one person, because let's look at the runoff for senators right now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We got 5,000 votes was the difference in one, but they're still doing a runoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 1,000 votes and you're declared the winner. See, and your office controls who declares. See the difference. So those two things are but as far as Trump and the Republican Party, I think what he's doing is needed, because what we're starting to see is unity that used to be somewhat ironclad. Like John McCain, when he was running in the Republican Party, regardless of how people felt about him, they they stood on the same stage.
Right.
They had each other back. And that's kind of sort of that's kind of been the thing with both parties. I mean, looking back. Right. But now what we're seeing is a two-party country that's already divided. And what Trump is doing is forcing the hand of some on the conservative side. And it's like, either you're going to stand for right, stand with me.
Right.
Take that statement how you feel. But what happens is now the Republican Party could split to the point where it's not a contention anymore, which is all force the country to if because you got the president right now who there's a lot of Republicans that still support him like through and through.
Right. Yeah.
Who is now attacking prominent Republican leaders.
Right.
Yeah. They
back and forth. There's gonna be some fallout here. And I think
they're not going to play with each other at the country club this weekend.
Right.
It'll be the log cabin is out. Yes, sir.
No, but listen, but like Pastor said before, these guys fight in public, but they go at it in private. Like, just like if we all was holding office in different spots in different parties, we'll fight on the floor. Then we'll come on, behind closed doors like, yo, you didn't have to say that. You had to bring that up.
You know what he should do? He should take all his followers and just go independent on the next race, man.
That's
just change the whole game up.
All right, hold on.
Donald Trump called Ted Cruz's wife ugly.
That's what I'm talking about.
And had dinner with it.
This is a different type of gangsterism, if you will. Hey, Pastor, I feel you, Pastor, because look, before you
got to see me about that one.
They talk in public about stuff. And then they go bet on the horses and gamble, play golf.
Yeah,
that's what used to happen.
Let me get some of these comments.
Your wife ugly.
I can't believe that was not.
Cole said,
real.
Cole said this is Trump's MO. He set up the whole controversy at the campaign rallies throughout the year, especially mail-in ballots. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Sad part is, though, mail-in ballots were huge for Republican voters. This is a clear case of cutting off your nose despite your face.
Yeah, Republicans did well.
Sam said this is kind of apples and oranges. The margin.
Sam referring to the argument about Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And they said the margin of loss was very different. Let's see. Cole said to your question, Ephraim, both Abrams and Trump were politically wrong. I get the extenuating circumstances, but if the election board counts votes and they have a tally and both parties agree to how the ballots are tabulated, you have to accept the results. Interesting. Yeah. All right, Trump called Cruz's ugly and the Cruz, right, kiss the ring 2 years later to get reelected. Right, like,
yeah.
That's the moment
you got to say call for your wife, but Cruz don't want to go back to punching no clock, man.
It's like having a new bank in town, though. Okay, what part of you from Miami, right?
Hollandale, Broward County, representative 954, sir.
Okay. So,
for those who are watching,
I thought you were about to throw some time.
Exactly what it's like, right?
Yeah.
You and your partners, right? Y'all might have a certain way of doing things. In the street, it might look one way. Behind closed doors, it might look another way.
Right.
And y'all cool with that because that's how y'all rock with each other.
Right.
But then somebody move from Opelika, move into your neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Outside.
Do they get that same privilege? Or what happens when they don't know you like that, but hey, your bra ugly, son?
Yeah. Yeah. And like it's bad anywhere, but he did it on a public stage though.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I just wonder what his wife said about it. Because I mean, I just like she gotta say something, right?
Right.
I wouldn't want to be him.
Right.
And go home. And my wife looking at, you gonna just let him call me ugly, baby?
Right.
I thought what we had was real.
Right.
You gonna do nothing?
Yeah. And you can't fight the president. I get it, but go say something at least, bro. Like,
right.
Say something.
I still got to go to court by and have peers of my jury of my peers. What are you gonna do if he called your wife ugly?
We gotta fight him. We gotta fight him, man. I gotta fight you. I can't go home. Like she's gonna say something.
Right.
It's impossible, bro. We gotta
Man,
fight.
he just caused me emotional distress.
Yeah.
He gave me PTSD. I saw divorce papers in my head. I saw
all that.
I messed up.
And I said, yes, it's worth fighting the president for.
So you can get somebody off.
So let me ask you. So you, and I think I've probably asked this before. So you really think that the Republican Party will fracture enough to create a new party, or will the new party that's being created under Donald Trump's regime just infiltrate into the Republican Party? Because that was based on an interview I was watching with Steve Bannon. That's kind of like their goal, to infiltrate the current Republican Party, hijack, and to really push a certain message.
I can't wait to really hear Pastor Dwayne Tate, because they're way more versed on that than I am. But I initially I would like to question the age of that group. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they 70 like him, how strong are they in 10 years? Right. How many millennials? I know a few people who were I don't know they generation whatever, but the ones who couldn't vote in high school last time around, that turned 18. I heard he had a good turnout with them. Right. I feel some of those Miami Hispanic numbers were forged. I don't know. I don't think there's enough Hispanics in the area that they did it to sway a vote like that. But like, once you wash out all this voter fraud, all this craziness, I really want to see the age and strength of that group, But but I know this, the loyalty is there, the mindless following is there. If that's what he wants to do, then it's done. And they already unofficially have Pastor was telling me the name of group. It's like, these other little groups, the Lincoln Project and stuff like that. So they already got officially they got some different groups. But I'm just saying, if he wants them to, like, I don't know the strength, but I'm talking about the next 2-4 years, maybe 8. If he wants them to, they're gone. They can call it. He can go to the independent party. He can call it the own, because I already heard he's trying to get he's trying to build like a network to rival Fox. So he's gonna get some followers. You know what I'm saying? So
he's gonna show up somewhere.
If he wants it, yes, but how strong, I don't know.
I think because it isn't lawful. Like, aren't there? I mean, I've been based on news. I've been hearing like certain people that have that ideology that's following Trump are getting elected into office. So it's kind of like, media gets harping on the fact that these are different kind of Republicans, or Trump Republicans. That's probably going to be the name determined until they actually have a real name. What they call, or the populist Trump, party is one of
Trump put his name on everything. His name gonna be on there.
Someone said, what did Hannity was like? We need to call it. What did he call it? The Trump vaccine. The Trump vaccine.
And it's so funny, like how we see him, right? Like William was talking earlier with, like, some people commented, but I'm saying he looks totally different, and that's what throws me. He looks like a savior. Like, man, this man literally brought America back. Man, thank God Trump came. They really feel he cleaned out the swamp, and they justify everything he did because they feel like he had to do it. Like, this is the only way he could really clean up America. And it's like how some people see him here. Right. And I never really want to mess with people, if that guy's up there. Right. I think he made Joe Biden's job super hard. I know Joe Biden got lift every voice plan, all these Ice Cube plans. I know he got to clean up what Donald Trump messed up first, before he can even get to the stuff he promised us. So he got a long. I don't know if he planned on running the second term, but he got a long road ahead of him. Yeah, all those sanctions and stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you good, because I think Trump was, a lot of the ideology was pulling out of the being so global and get more local, the trades, and pulling out the Paris Accord, what did we say? What's that from the movie? God Bless America and Nowhere Else.
And nowhere else.
Nowhere. So I think he's really on, focused on really doing that.
I see. This is the issue that's going to arise.
Yeah, one of them.
It doesn't matter what they do, and hear me. This is why I say it doesn't matter, because their option, one way or the other, the competition is the Democratic Party. Yeah, and the Democratic Party teeters somewhere between 48 and 52% any given time. So it's it's fairly always evenly matched, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is why I say it doesn't matter. Because if you want to continue to have an America that their input is not only valuable,
Okay.
but then the only way they can achieve that is together.
Mhm.
If a split occurs, then it doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
might have a town here, a county there, but politics where it counts,
Right.
Democrats are going to dominate the Senate and the House because now you guys are over here fighting over the 52% that's left. So even if one of you gets 8%, this is why when Kanye started running, the Republican Party got extremely mad.
Right.
I mean, because think about it. Some people are going to vote for him. Well, the Democratic Party got
50,000
extremely
people.
mad.
50,000 people did.
That's votes, and that could have been enough in some areas to cause President Biden not to win that area. So think about how many people actually support Trump.
Right.
Now imagine if those numbers are split from the Republican Party. We ain't talking 60,000 votes.
Right.
Yeah.
We talking we talking 6 million votes.
I will say
60 million votes.
I will say, so I've not done all the research into it, but I've heard the Democratic Party is kind of fractioning off a little bit too. With AOC, I think she has, I think Bernie Sanders, I think their ideology isn't all the way with, with all the Democrats, I've been hearing that that's fracturing a little bit too. Like I said, I don't have all the research, but I've heard it like maybe once or twice on the media, some of the infighting with them as well. So honestly, if I had any inkling of trying to split the Democratic Party, this would be the time, because it's like, okay, Republicans are splitting, we could split and still have an opportunity to win. So
AD, on that note, if you were at the round table, it can give the Democratic, who, like Dwayne says, in the lead right now.
Right.
If you can give them any advice, what would it be? Y'all just turned states blue. You got your president in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's doing all these diverse picks.
Right.
They in shambles over there.
Right.
What should they look out for?
Stick together. If we have come to a compromise, have the private compromise. Don't have the public fights. Because you don't want to give anybody fuel or any power. Because honestly, can I keep it real?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was some shenanigans with Joe Biden, and I'm talking about becoming the Democratic nominee, because I felt like the way it happened, and
too fast,
because it seemed like he was last going into the pandemic, like he was dead last, or not dead last, like really close to the bottom, and then he kind of rose to the top really quickly. So I've always kind of questioned that, and if it's in my mind, I'm sure it's in other people's minds, like what's going on here?
They got behind closed doors and they said,
probably
he's the best shot to beat Trump. I think this is like that. Hey, let's concede and give it. I do like Bernie. I still like Bernie. I believe Bernie every time he said he's gonna take it to the big corporations.
Right.
That's about the only politician who makes a promise like that. I really believe. Like, Bernie can't wait. He want to fight. And he would have been, him or Elizabeth Warren would have been the best to debate Trump. They would have gave it to him.
Right.
But I think Joe just had the best shot. I think this one was definitely just about who can beat him.
Right. Look, I could have blasted Donald Trump in a without knowing what any of the subjects were going to be about.
Because it's just a fight. He came out there on the first one trying to debate. Man, no, this ain't no debate. Trump came out there to fight, man. Look, that's why they like him so much. He give it to him.
Yeah, he said. Cole said the moderates are like Biden, the socialists are like AOC. Yeah, and that's what I've been.
There's a lot of reality there. Because imagine this. Trump became the ugliest parts of what the Republican Party represents. The ugliest parts of what the Republican Party represents.
Right.
That's Trump embodies the most, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The the evangelicals that might got multiple affiliations outside of church.
Right.
The ones that really feel like you might be a ninja and might say it many times throughout the day, just not to you.
Right.
Yeah.
They love Trump.
Right.
Yes,
they love him. So imagine how America would be, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form endorsing what I'm just saying. I'm just posing a question. Please understand that. These are not my beliefs, and these are not the beliefs, the political beliefs of Brothers of Legacy. We do not endorse it.
It's just a question.
I got to make a sign every time we start saying that. Put it up.
Right. Look, just put it up on one of the screens. Just have it ready to share the screen. What if a woman who has had multiple abortions and brags about how it should be our choice, and then is now had a sex change operation and become a man, runs for president, and is very popular with the Democratic Party, and then becomes president of the United States? Do you imagine the terror that person is going to unleash every time he or she opens her mouth to address the American people, depending on how you see it as a him or a she? Or like I said, I'm just asking a question. That's almost the equivalent of what's in the White House currently to Democrats.
There you go. That's good.
Thank you, Carl. Because D be going in, baby.
Hey, not comment. Not comment. Question.
I'm yeah.
He just asked the question, Sam. That's it.
Yeah. How would you think Republican America would feel in that situation,
right?
Or a situation similar to that?
Yeah, they leaving America.
With that, they would, that would solidify the party. Topic things like that, I think, would definitely bring them together.
So why do you think? So why do you think President Joe Biden has won? I would drop this. I
hear you, but I still feel it's just Trump hate, though. People won't change that. There's some, I think it's more hate. He aligns with some stuff they believe. I'm not doubting that, but like
this is what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying. What we're seeing is the person
you talking about the flip the script.
Believe, flip the script.
I got you.
That was the equivalent of President Trump being in office right now to many Democrats, because he says every insensitive thing you can imagine.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's done every single thing he talks against.
Right.
Yeah.
And yet he's in power.
Right.
So that would almost equals the person that's the worst representation of what the Republican Party can be is the representation of the Republican Party. And all I was saying, imagine if the worst representation the Democratic Party offer was president. This is what we're enduring. And I think that they initially did it because they thought he was going to fail miserably, and it gave them time to rebuild and bounce back, and it blew up in their face. And now America.
So you think that's how Joe Biden rose to the top?
No. I'm saying that's why it didn't really matter who was going to be the candidate from the right. As long as the person seemed presidential, they were going to beat President Trump this time around.
Because Trump was so unorthodox.
They
wanted to get rid of him.
He literally has caused the Republican Party to question themselves right now, because there's some that's drank the Kool-Aid and they're just waiting to pass out when the spaceship come to get them.
Yeah,
there's some of them that are that way, and there's other Republicans that are like, I can't believe we've been just blindly cheering this guy on against our better judgment. Like, how do you think Ted Cruz feel right now? Not even from a political point of view, but just personal. How do you think he feel? I mean, his political career isn't over.
You got to be redefined. But even like some of the stuff you're saying, D, I kind of feel you. But like, this is the first time, and maybe I'm getting older, but this is the first time no matter how many times I've heard change is coming to America, all that kind of stuff, this is the first time I really believe it. Like even like what you're saying is Republicans have to kind of redefine themselves. All of them going to have some kind of Trump vibe to them as they campaign so that they can reach his voters. They didn't even know that group was there. Like, it just feels like I wasn't around in the 60s, but I imagine it felt like this in the 60s, like change. Like even with Obama, it felt like that felt like just what it was, the first guy to get through, right? It didn't totally feel like change to me, like the atmosphere. I hope I didn't say that crazy. But what I'm saying right now, I feel like a change in the atmosphere. Like Trump showed me a new group that I didn't know existed. He made me feel a way about white people I was worshiping with. He said stuff on the air that I didn't think. Like when they play this movie back for my kids 20 years from now, they're gonna ask me, like, did he really do that? Or that's just some Hollywood stuff. Like, like how I was watching that. Y'all saw that OJ trial on FX. Right. Yeah. I was looking at that thing like, hold on, did that happen? And I had to like Wikipedia, like, no, that really happened. Like, this was some crazy thing going on. So this is my first time in America feeling like things are really changing. And I'm not saying for the better or for the worse, best of the worst, but it feels different, man. It feels different. A lot of different views.
And I completely get what you're saying, but I what you're describing right now, after Rodney King,
I
felt the same thing. Yeah. I saw a major American city looking like a war zone from the Middle East.
Right. What was that vibe like? Did y'all really feel like Rodney was going, like they wasn't gonna get away with it? Like, I mean, I was there, but I wasn't
to me, I was in high school and I was old enough to understand a lot, but still young enough that I didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
But I looked at it. I was like, man, these jokers, as a teenager, watching 5-6 cops beat the living daylights out of somebody.
Right.
Not. I'm talking about just going in.
Yeah.
Like I saw fights in the neighborhood that didn't go that bad.
Right.
And
they wrote that boy.
You couldn't tell me that they wasn't going to jail.
Right.
You couldn't convince my mind that somebody could do that to a person and have it on camera.
Right.
Regardless of who you are, and you're gonna get off.
Right.
You couldn't tell me that was gonna happen.
Right.
And I bet you somebody that was about 30, 40.
They already knew
my mom. Look, mama, tell you what my mama told me. My mama told me this, and I'm gonna shut up and let Pastor go in. My mama told me, boy, I done seen people get killed for less.
Thank you, Mama. Because I was gonna say I have 2 words for you. Silly rabbit.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't see it come up.
Pastor, what do you hope for with America?
I don't hope for America as much as I hope for the kingdom.
Right.
Okay.
For me, it always comes back to the scripture. And, when you talk about, you really feel change, I felt change with the OJ trial. I felt change with Rodney King. I felt change when Barack Obama was elected. I think about Jesus being led away in the book of Luke. Just bear with me, humor me for a minute.
Absolutely.
Remember when Jesus was being led away and they called Simon out to carry the cross?
Yes.
And the people were following behind Jesus, and it says that the Bible says the women were wailing, were crying out.
Yep.
And Jesus said, "Don't cry for me, cry for your children." Y'all remember that?
Absolutely.
That's in Luke, I think it's 23. When Barack Obama was elected, and I don't take any pride in this or anything like that, I got nervous when Barack Obama won.
Wow.
Because to me, that was change. It was change. It was a great accomplishment. But I knew the fight was coming.
As a reaction to that.
Yeah, what most people and when Barack Obama was elected, I began to feel like what that scripture says in Luke 23. I got concerned about what comes after. Right? Because I was trying to figure out what would be the cost, because the Republican Party, right-wing America didn't lose anything when Barack Obama was elected. I need y'all to think about this.
Yeah.
They did not lose. They didn't take an L. They took a pause. And they went behind closed doors and they got their act together. They started increasing gerrymandering. They started redrawing district lines. So while everybody was focused on Barack Obama, they were focused on getting all the local seats.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I said Barack Obama was Lady Eloise.
Just a face. He
was a face. Right. As intelligent as he was, he could not impute anything because he didn't have the power.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they didn't lose. They gained, because while we were celebrating and ready to put his face on a stamp and the T-shirts and all that, they were grabbing all the congressional seats.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you fast forward and people say, ooh, I heard you say this earlier, Elder. You said that there should be a question of, now that your states have turned blue, how many states have actually turned blue? I know states voted for Joe Biden, but does that mean the state turned blue?
Oh, just they want to. I get you.
Or they just didn't want Trump in office.
Yeah.
Because there are states where Biden won, but we don't have the Senate seats.
Yeah.
So the states are still red.
Yeah.
They just didn't vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Right. So when we talk about change, yeah, there is significant change on the horizon. And we talk about splits. I feel like, yeah, there is a split in the Republican Party, because let's not forget the Lincoln Project.
Well, yeah.
Let's not forget the group of Republicans who came together and they began this anti-Trump campaign.
Right.
They were funding all of this money. Right. They're not going anywhere.
No, not at all.
So while Trump is raising all of this money, Trump is not just raising money to pay off bills. Trump is raising money to fight the Lincoln Project too.
Right.
So, and you also talk about this next generation. Believe me. Right. I work in corporate America. There is a quiet debate within the engineers in my organization who are anti-Trump but are conservative.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm sitting at the table quietly. Right.
Yeah.
Because I have enough common sense, and they know me. They don't hear, they watch. You don't know that they follow Brothers of Legacy, but they out there. They're creeping.
Yeah.
They want to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
Right? They're watching me, and I can have a conservative conversation and still maintain a social agenda.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I am one who believes there are certain policies in place that are more right-leaning that I agree with.
Right.
What I don't agree with is lack of integrity, lack of character.
Right.
I don't agree with that. Does that make me a Republican? Nope. I am absolutely an anomaly.
Right.
Because I can't vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
In my heart, I just can't. There's no way that I can do it.
True.
I couldn't vote for George Bush. I know, Dwayne, I got you. I heard what you said, bro. The problem that I have with the Republican Party is that there are too many Donald Trumps in it.
Yeah. Just more quiet.
That's my problem. I can never represent a party where I know they got all kinds of Trumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem.
And what he said, no, what you said, Pastor, I completely agree, because what it was for me was me opening my eyes to see certain things. So at one point in my life, I didn't see it. It was beyond me. And then it was just in my face.
Cole said, think about this, AD. They touted the Democratic presidential candidates, the most diverse presidential pool in U.S. history. In March, we watched a 70-year-old man and a 78-year-old man as to who would be the Democratic nominee. He also said, Cole said it's similar to LBJ, not LeBron James. Lyndon Baines Johnson did a
Leave
lot of favors
LeBron
in
alone.
Washington. Did a lot of favors in Washington behind the scenes and came to collect. There are some elements of that with Biden. Said Ted Cruz feels elated and horrible at the same time. The real two-face. Rodney King, I was too young to fully grasp it all. I thought seeing those cops beat King would be put away. Right. I got a wake-up call because the verdict happened the day of my birthday after my birthday.
Yep.
Oh, he said, to your point, Pastor, my father said the exact same thing when Obama got elected. These people think change is going to happen, but America don't want a black man as president. He said, drop the mic, Pastor. You spoke exactly why I can't find it to vote Republican. And to the Rodney King thing, yeah, I was feeling the same way. Like, this is crazy. Like, how could they not get off? And I was like, young, kill it, burn it down. But then when they pulled Reginald Denny out that truck, I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's over the top. That's over the top.
I noticed stuff, but I couldn't see both sides of it. I didn't know what that meant. I just knew that's what we were talking about.
Right.
Even with the OJ trial, I didn't know all the details and stuff. But when the verdict hit, we had a teacher next door, Ms. Rogers. She came over and she said, I wanted them to burn the bastard. And she said that in 94 to my 5th grade class or whatever that was. And they were like, that moment, I remember the tension around it, but I couldn't keep that. You know what I'm saying? So here I have this white lady upset about this black man getting off. I ain't know nothing about OJ. Is he really representing the people? You get what I'm saying? I didn't, but you can feel certain impacts.
It was crazy because that feeling that you're talking about, that's where many of us find ourselves in moments in time. So that's why I said one day it's gonna be no big deal because you didn't understand that moment.
I was waiting for that.
you didn't understand that moment. Yeah, OJ did it. He got off.
I was in Southern California when the verdict came out for OJ.
Wow.
And I worked at a company that was predominantly Jewish. A lot of the engineers, the people who owned the company were Jewish people.
Wow.
And I'll never forget, I was hanging out at one of my coworkers' house the night, the day the verdict came out.
A Jewish coworker?
Yes.
Okay.
And we were just hanging out, nothing to do with the verdict or anything like that. But where I was in Los Angeles,
it was a boo.
The verdict came out, and I wasn't in the hood.
Right.
I wasn't in the hood.
Okay.
People came out of their houses.
Did you feel danger?
Mad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They were so mad. And I could hear, there were literally people outside in the street shouting. And I told them, I gotta go. I gotta get out of this zip code.
Look, I know better.
Right? And what I'm saying is, and here's the thing. You can be as social as you want. You can be as conservative. You can be as liberal. It doesn't matter to me.
Right.
But the one thing that has never changed is the response when it's black on white.
Right.
That's what I've learned. Now, if you want to talk about change, and that's what Terrell was talking about, Ephraim was talking about earlier, there is significant change because you really do have people who don't look like us fighting for a cause that supports our agenda.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right.
What does that do to the people who are on the opposite side?
Right.
What is it? You know what it makes them do? It makes them hold on to Trump with as much as with as tight a grip as they can.
Right.
They're going to hold on even tighter. So I'm going back to the split.
Right.
There's a split in the Republican Party because you have the GOP and then you have the Trumpsters. Absolutely true. Trump has caused too much damage. Right now, he has all the power because he's the president.
Right.
I'm waiting to see what happens after January 20th. What are they going to do with his voice?
Right.
Okay. They're going to have to start reducing his voice and his influence, or they're going to have to go all in. That's when the question.
I'm gonna say, I think all in.
Well, that's one perspective, right?
I think all in.
It's very possible that would be the case.
Right.
Right. But then you have to ask, are you really prepared for civil war?
Right.
Because that's what you're faced with, right? Because if you jump on the bandwagon with Trump, even after this election, then essentially what you're saying is we're headed for civil war.
Right.
Then on the Democratic side, Barack Obama said something that ticked a whole lot of people off.
Right.
Right. He was basically saying we shouldn't have had to settle for Joe. He was basically saying the Democrats have got to recognize we've got to start looking at the next generation.
Right.
Because we've gotten too old.
Right. AOC.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, she's like, she's been the target.
She is a bit radical.
She's been the target of the Republicans. Yeah, they've been on her.
The vice president might be running for president next.
Oh, well, Kamala, possibly.
Well, I'm praying for Joe Biden's health.
Hey, well, you did hear the joke that Joe made, right?
Oh,
yeah.
So, I mean,
so
he sees the right. Look, Joe sees the writing on the wall. I think that's why she was picked. She was being groomed for the betterment of the party. I think Joe understood Obama's sentiment at the same time. I think that's why she's his running mate. She's young. She represents a whole new class and breed of woman. I mean, there's so many different things about her that plays into like that narrative.
Right.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Well, what I find interesting about Kamala Harris is there are people who support her because of who she was as a prosecutor.
Right.
The very thing that the black community tried to hold against her when Joe Biden named her.
Right.
They came out from the woodworks.
Right.
Like, right? But
right.
Joe Biden knew that was going to happen.
Right.
Joe Biden also knew that if he wanted to keep the white vote, he needed that little feather.
Right.
That's real. I mean, there's
crime. Say what you want.
There's so many dynamics. What do you guys think about seeing two 70-year-old white men representing
the top of both parties in today's times?
Well, it's the same thing they've been saying about the church forever.
Right.
Pastors refuse to let go of the microphone.
Right.
Too many pastors die in the pulpit because they have not properly or effectively accepted their successor.
Right.
Well, let me
the greatest lesson in the life of Moses. Joshua is the greatest lesson in the life of Moses. The fact that Joshua's name was mentioned before Moses died.
Right.
Yeah. Most people don't realize that the greatest story I think ever told, aside from the birth of Jesus Christ, is go out and choose men to go and fight the Amalekites, which was the instruction that Moses gave to Joshua before Moses died. Right. In other words, Moses said, I have confidence in this man as my successor, so much so that I don't have to choose the men for battle. I'm going to empower him to choose the men that are going to go out and save us from the Amalekites. And I don't even have to go fight.
Right.
The greatest part of business, of leadership, is when you can be such a great leader and have such a vision that somebody else can carry it out.
Yeah.
You know you're doing something when you don't even have to go to the meeting. You can send a representative and know it's going to get done.
Right.
Entrepreneurs, here's a note for you. You know you are an entrepreneur when you don't have to do the work.
Right.
It's good. It's good.
Hey,
that's the greatest part of leadership is having a successor that you can name before you die, so that everybody knows who this person is.
They know
Make sure that somebody has leadership equity coming behind you, so that if anything happens, they've already been endorsed. No one has to search. There's not going to be people like vultures fighting for position and all of that, because you made it clear
from the jump
who the successor is. That's the problem with the Democratic Party, and that's why we had 15 candidates in the beginning.
Right. You're right. He said, let's see, then read some of Cole's, and then we're gonna answer Sam's question at the end. My coworker did not like the OJ verdict. They never talked about it. I think the next 2 years will be interesting because I believe we are about to see a political civil war with the GOP.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we are headed for a national civil war. Anyway, he said Kamala won't have to run because she may become president before 2024. What do you guys think about this? And he answered the 70-year-old guys. Yes.
Hey, I think everything Pastor said is wrapped up in one word: legacy.
Right.
Yeah, legacy. Right. Absolutely. But there's something about that word legacy, and we'll probably have to come back to that. I want to make that note when you said legacy, because I want to compare, legacy as it relates to testimony and legacy as it relates to doing the work.
I never separated. Yeah, that's good.
Ooh.
Right.
All right. So coming up tomorrow on the Brothers of Legacy. All right. That's good. So before we get out of here, two things doing the work. The first thing, how do you guys feel Joe's gonna do what they say the first 100? How much you think how much change is gonna happen, do you feel like, in the first 100 days?
No change. He has to fight a pandemic.
It depends on what happens January 5th.
Right. So let's just say it's in the favor of the Democrats, that January 5th come. Cause I figure you're gonna say that. Let me add that to it.
My assumption it's I hate to say this, I hate to be pessimistic. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm trying to be a realist, but I think it's going to be in favor of the Republicans.
But regardless of, like, if he's fighting the pandemic, this man, that's number one. Right. Pick your team, pick the cabinet, pick the positions, and then you fighting the pandemic for 100 days. Like what policy he gonna put? And like, okay, let's say Pastor's right, and he gets the Republicans, they fight him. Let's say he gets the Democrats, they're gonna have to spend all their time undoing the stuff Trump did. So like first 100 days, much of nothing.
However, fighting the pandemic can make up a lot of something that may not be at the top of our priority list, but definitely is work that needs to be done. Because what the United States have been over the last 4 years is almost like an isolationist type government. We want to bring everything back to America, and we cut ties or simmer or lessen ties with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
Trump just had a briefing, a coronavirus, a COVID-19 briefing, and he did not even allow Joe Biden's projected team to participate.
Right.
That happened like 24 hours ago.
So if he does that within these borders,
right,
imagine how he does outside of these borders. So one area where President-elect Joe Biden can definitely pick up ground is he can start to mend some of these international ties that have been tested, because Corona was an international issue. It was a multinational. Yeah, it was worldwide.
Yeah, but why does it only seem like it's an American issue now?
Because it's a political issue now. That's what it's been. It's been.
We got 18% of the world's deaths from Corona, though. We hold that, so we up there now.
Politicized. Well, you got to realize how much the rest of the world don't even care but record their deaths.
Yeah.
They're like, you got to think about some of these numbers. There's some countries there's no morgue, no ME, and people are dying, and they just, he died, just throw him over there. Like,
but even to Dwayne, what you saying is still what I'm saying. Even repairing relationships, fixing stuff, he's just gonna be fixing what Trump undid.
Oh no, most definitely no. But I'm just saying. But the change for the country is those things get fixed. I mean, because I promise you that there's places right now, because Trump damaged some relationships, it's not safe to be an American tourist.
Yeah.
And I promise you, the fact that Trump is no longer in office and President Joe Biden is talking to Prime Minister such and such in a newspaper article, that changes the sentiment for people that might move out of the country or who got business ventures out of the country. So those little things even though they don't affect like the masses of us, it's still positive steps. But like you said, Joe is going to be doing fixing. I think we're not going to see any major policy 9 months in. I think we're looking 9 months plus before we see major policy, because right now you got to clean wounds, you got to triage wounds, and then you got to stitch wounds before you can start making moves.
Yeah.
Cole said Biden already says his first 100 days is to reverse the course of COVID-19. I believe that's going to be that will probably be most of his focus. Sam said, "Isn't it all contingent upon Trump peacefully leaving office? His behavior doesn't support that he is willing to leave."
No, because 1201 on January 20th, he is a trespass at the White House, and and that then becomes a crime. And Secret Service,
no, he's coming out. I mean, I think after yesterday, people are saying that publicly he's still fighting, but privately there has been a concession. He has not said it out loud publicly, but privately they all know that he's got to come out of there. This was the first time that the president.
I want to see him not come out though. I really want to see it. I want to see it be like. I want Trump to have a Tupac. I want Trump to have a Tupac moment right in front of Marine One.
Man, it's gonna be bad for America, man. See how crazy get tossed like that.
Look, it's gonna be like Training Day. You remember one way in, one way out? It was like, Phil, you gonna kick me out? Wait a minute. I had you cheating on your wife with these models all these years following around, and now you want to just kick me out? And what about you? Remember, you couldn't get a date? I got you the chick from Miss America pageant. Y'all could just kick me out. King Kong ain't on me.
It's gonna be bad, man.
All right. We're about to close out, but I have an important question in 2020 that's probably been debated and discussed, and I want to see what you guys think. And Sam brought it up. Let's see if it comes up. Guilty or not guilty?
Oh, he was guilty. He was definitely guilty.
OJ.
We're talking about OJ Simpson here.
Well, let me change it. He did it, but he was not guilty.
In the court of law,
he did it, but he was not guilty.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Did it or not did it?
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah, OJ did it, man.
He did it. Pastor, what you think?
OJ got a temper, man. He went out there to get some straightening.
Look, it's a sad thing.
I refuse to answer that question on grounds incriminate me.
Hey, here's the sad thing. When OJ got off, people felt just like those cops that was on camera beating Rodney King. They did it, but they got off. Right. That's the same feeling. All the people that was like, yes, I knew they were innocent. He deserved to be beat. He was on that PCP and driving that little car and that big. Look, that's the same way black people felt when OJ got off. We all know OJ did it.
Y'all got Halcino started. Halcino, listen.
Halcino, he did it.
OJ did it.
If he was a student in my mother's classroom, my mother was a teacher.
Right.
He would be the student that she had up front helping her teach the class. Because my mother always said, bring the disruptors close. They're part of your team so that they don't disrupt your class.
Yeah.
He did say that. I don't know his involvement. I won't say he ain't innocent.
You can call it OJ slander, my brother. He did it. Look.
Right. Or he pays somebody. Right. He guilty of something. He ain't innocent.
Only reason I feel he did it because if you look at that report, they died violently. If you would pay somebody, it would have been
disruptors in the eye of the ball.
Yep.
Come on up here. Come on up to the front of the class with me. Come on.
Yeah. There's a lot of you got to look it up. There's multiple evidences. Some confessions he's actually made. He's talked to people, there's witnesses, but it's been after the fact. Someone in jail already admitted to it. I'm a little question to that, but we're gonna get out of here. We appreciate you, Alcino. Thanks for coming through. And listen, we love your dissent and being our disruptor because we love it. Let's see, your mother's smart one. Bring this from the school. Please, my friend, please. He said, gotta holler at Judge Joe Brown.
now, son, you come in my courtroom with your britches hanging down, and you expect me to think you didn't do it. You running around with all these white women. You running around with all these white women, and you don't say it
right, Dwayne. Not sitting right. Yeah. Come in my courtroom.
That's it, yeah. He always laid back.
You gotta leave back.
Hands all hanging down.
Like he tired of working there.
Oh man. Yeah, like he said, like he tired of working it, right?
Last case I'm supposed to judge right here.
I'm done. All right, guys. So we see you guys tomorrow. We appreciate you.
Hurry up.
All right, let's go. Oh, let's do this. And we see you guys tomorrow. Listen, always know that we love you, but God loves you more. Make sure you stay protected, stay safe, wear the mask. And I know people don't agree, but it's all good. And we see you guys in the AM. Peace out. I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another. Good morning.